wanted to use Billy Shark. We'd be very wise to remember the ISIS version of Mission Creek. That's when they start following through on the threats they've been making by sending their recruits into this country. It may be a team of terrorists arriving with their passports and papers all in order, just like before, or it may be when one or more of them slips across our unsecure border. But what rational observer doubts that such an attack is not part of their plan? And who thinks it's a good idea to wait and give them more time instead of eliminating this menace right now? We have a vital stake here. Reluctant as we might be to face 12 years of war in Iraq, and 3 years after we're told that war was over, it is no one's idea of where this nation hoped we would be in the summer of 2014. It's a long way from what we expected, but it's where we are. And our strength and our resolve today can steer us clear of far graver problems that are ahead. The demands of national security always require dealing with the threats as they come. Better still, we deal with them before they come in the faithful and vigilant protection of the United States. Thank you. You call it. You're in charge.
Oh, I love hearing that. Governor Perry put me in charge. I'll play Al Haig up here for us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have time for just one question. And I saw his hand go up first, so we're going to give this here. We have a microphone. Please state your name and affiliation, and the governor will take your question.
Thank you, Governor. My name is Steve LeBlanc, and I'm with U.S. Border Security Committee. And listening to your question or your statements, is there a concern that ISIS may be coming through the southern border into the United States? That's the question I'd like to answer.
Certainly there is, I think, great concern that the border between the United States and Mexico is unsecure, and we don't know who's using that. What I will share with you that we've seen historic high levels of individuals from countries with terrorist ties over the course of the last months. I'll give you one anecdotal picture of what's happening. 3 Ukrainian individuals were apprehended in a ranch in far west Texas within the last 60 days. So I think there's the obvious great concern that because of the condition of the border from the standpoint of it not being secure and us not knowing who is penetrating across, that individuals from ISIS or other terrorist states could be, and I think that it's a very real possibility that they may have already used that. We have no clear evidence of that, but your common sense tells you, when we've seen the number of criminal activities that have occurred, and I'm talking about the assaults, the rapes, the murders by individuals who have come into this country illegally over the last 5 years, that the idea that they would not be looking at and managing any of those types of attacks from that region is not a good place to be. We need to have clear and compelling forces, both law enforcement and otherwise, on that southern border to send the message that it is secure. The border can be secured. It requires boots on the ground. It requires the aviation assets. It's one of the reasons that we asked the FAA for the use of drones to be able to look down 24/7 through all weather, night and day, and identify activity that's occurring on the border. We've yet to have that approval. And obviously, strategic fencing in the metropolitan areas is very helpful as well. So we have a serious issue facing this country in the security of our citizens. We need to be very vigilant. We need to be using every authority that we have. The President needs to be engaged in using his presidential authority, and Congress needs to engage in securing this country, because I will suggest, as I said in my remarks, until the border is secure, there will be no conversation in this country about any immigration reform. Americans do not trust Washington to deal with comprehensive immigration reform until that border is secure. Thank you.
They said we actually have time for one more question.
All right.
So we're going to even it
Great.
out, and we'll come right here to this young lady. Thank you.
Hi, Governor. Thanks for taking time to take the questions. I actually have one political and one policy question for you. First, sorry, Casey Hunt with NBC News. Politically, you discussed your indictment at the beginning of this. I'm wondering why you view this indictment as political if the judge in the case was appointed by a Republican and then the prosecutor also served in a Republican presidential administration. Policy-wise, on ISIS specifically, you've called for more aggressive measures from this administration, but you stopped short of saying traditional combat troops should be used on the ground. I'm wondering if you think that we should send traditional combat troops back to Iraq.
When David Axelrod, Lanny Davis, Alan Dershowitz, Jonathan Chatt all say that this is sketchy, outrageous, totalitarian, and McCarthyite, I agree with them. And that's just on the Democrat side of the aisle. So I think all your options have to be open from the standpoint of dealing with this terror and this force in that country. I think signaling to your enemy what you are not going to put on the table is very, very bad, both strategical and tactical errors by this administration. We need to have all of our options open. It is too important to Jordan. It is too important to Israel. It is too important to the interest of the West in that part of the world to not stop ISIS. They are not going to stop in that region of the world. They need to be eliminated. They need to be eliminated now. Thank you all.